Today we're taking a look at these MLB matches, which are happening on Friday, April 14, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and to push the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also check out our Patreon if you want access to our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money, and if you are interested in props and parlay picks, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link to our Patreon and to our new channel in the description and comments section below. Philadelphia Phillies vs Cincinnati Reds. The Phillies took 2 of the 3 games last weekend, but that was in Philadelphia. The teams moved to Cincinnati where the Reds are 3-2 this season, while the Phillies have just 1 win on the road in 6 games. It is the anemic bullpen for Philadelphia that is dooming this team. They simply cannot shut anyone down, and Walker is going to have to pitch a gem on Friday if his team is going to win. He has had mixed results against the Reds in his career, including allowing 2 runs in 4.2 innings on April 9. He walked 5 in that game. The Reds are struggling but have been in games. They have suffered 4 straight losses by a single run, and 6 of their 7 runs were by 3 runs or fewer. They know how to stay in games, and that will help them to win this contest. The Reds have won 21 of the last 29 meetings between these teams in Cincinnati. Our team pick is the Cincinnati Reds. The total has finished over in 6 of the last 7 games that Philadelphia has played against a team with a losing record. The total has finished over in each of Cincinnati's last 4 games, and in each of the last 4 that the Reds have played against a team from the National League East. Philadelphia is 26th in ERA at 5.28, and Cincinnati's team ERA is 4.91, which is 20th. Our total pick is over. Arizona Diamondbacks vs Miami Marlins. Miami will be giving the ball to left-hander Trevor Rogers on Friday, who's 0-2 with a 6.00 ERA, as in his first start, he went 4.1 innings allowing 4 runs, 3 earned against the Mets. His second start was also against the Mets as he went 4.2 innings, allowing 3 runs in his second start. The Marlins also have a team ERA of 5.09, which ranks 24th. Against Rogers, Walker is 1-2, Mart is 1-3, Smith is 1-4, while Rojas is 0-3, and Ahmed is 0-4. Friday night will be the battle of southpaws, as 2 lefty starters will pitch against each other, while both have struggled this season. Although both Bumgarner and Rogers struggled in their first 2 starts, they both played against good lineups and now face teams that have struggled offensively to begin the season. At home, Miami has been better offensively, as I do expect this lineup to get on base a ton against Bumgarner, who gives up a ton of this and walks and has struggled leaving balls over the plate. Our team pick is to take Miami. Although both Arizona and Miami have struggled this season offensively, I do like the over 9 runs here. Rogers and Bumgarner both leave the ball over the plate and are giving up a ton of hits and walks, and both these teams can steal bases and move the runners over to score plenty of runs. In both of Bumgarner's starts, 1 game went over 9 and the other was 9 total, with his starts averaging 10 runs per game. In Miami's last 5 games, they are 2-1 in going over 9 runs, while this season, they are averaging 8.3 runs per game, while Arizona's averaging 9.58 runs per game this season. Take the over 9. San Francisco Giants vs Detroit Tigers. Despite Mania's struggles on the road last season, I am leaning toward the Giants in this matchup. The Giants are a respectable 3-3 on the road thus far, while the Tigers return home, still looking for their first win at home. Detroit's lineup has picked up right where it left off in 2022, with the league's worst batting average to start 2023. Meanwhile, Wentz has been far less effective than he was in his brief turn in the rotation in 2022, as he has struggled to get swings and misses and has been inconsistent with his control. The Giants won 51% of their games against left-handed starters last season and should tack on another win on Friday. Take the Giants with the money line. We know Mania has been rocked already this season, but the Tigers' offense hasn't proven they can reliably hit the ball. Likewise, even with the pitching woes coming out of Detroit, the Giants are coming off a shutout loss and haven't proven they deliver at the plate on a regular basis. The under is 6-0 in the last 6 between these two, and we shouldn't expect to see many fireworks in this one. The play is the under 8 runs. Minnesota Twins vs New York Yankees. New York should have no problem winning this game by multiple runs, especially with this starting pitching matchup. Cortez was one of the top starters in the majors last season, going 12-4 with a 2.44 ERA in 28 starts. He has been able to build on that start with wins in both of his starts this year, allowing 3 combined earned runs in his first 2 appearances. New York has one of the most explosive lineups in the majors, giving Cortez plenty of run support. Minnesota relies too heavily on its pitching to keep pace with New York on Friday night, which has been the case in the past. New York has won 16 of the last 19 meetings between these teams. Our team pick is New York minus 1.5 runs. This Twins lineup is able to just dominate like that with the players littered in their lineup, and the Yankees can score at a great rate too. Looking at the home run totals so far, Minnesota is tied for 15th with 14 total homers, while New York is tied for 4th in baseball with 20. These pitching staffs overall are great, but Yankee Stadium produces a lot of long fly balls that end up in the seats. The over is 15-5-1 in their previous 21 games at Yankee Stadium between these teams, so go with over 7.5 runs in this game. Cleveland Guardians vs Washington Nationals. While Washington got off to a really slow start this season, winning just 1 of their first 7 games, they've rebounded somewhat by winning 3 of their last 6. Even in their recent losses, they have been playing better, with their last 3 losses coming by just a combined 4 runs. In this most recent 6-game stretch, the Nationals have a positive run differential of +4. While the Nationals rank towards the bottom of the league in runs scored so far, their offense is what has helped propel them over the last week, having scored 6+ runs in 4 of their last 6 games. The offense so far has been led by their young righty center fielder, Victor Robles, who is batting a fantastic .359 on the season. While the offense has been improving, their pitching is beginning to get hot as well, having only allowed 5 runs over their last 2 games. Despite their 4-9 record, I'm taking the Nationals in this one at +115. Their offense has been improving as of late, and they've been showing signs of life, splitting their last 6 games and posting a positive run differential in that time. Cleveland, on the other hand, is starting to falter after a strong start to the season. Their offense hasn't been impressive, and despite past success from Quantrill, he's off to a slow start and facing a team he has no track record against. Williams' dominance in his 2 starts versus Cleveland, plus the better start to the season overall, give Washington the edge here in the pitching matchup. If Victor Robles and the rest of the Nationals lineup continue to swing the bats like they have this past week, they should win this game at home. Take the Nats with the money line. I'm taking under 9 runs between the Guardians and the Nationals. As discussed previously, with Williams' success against Cleveland in the past and the Guardians' lackluster offense overall this season, averaging just 3.3 runs per game over their last 6, I don't see them scoring many runs. While Washington's offense has been improved of late, it will still be a tall task for them to make up most of the total themselves, especially if Cal Quantrill is able to get back on track and pitch as he has over the past few seasons. The Nationals' bullpen will also come into play here, with 3 relievers posting ERAs below 2.00 so far on the season, min. 6 IP. Take the under 9 runs. Tampa Bay Rays vs Toronto Blue Jays. Tampa Bay has been the biggest story in the majors this season, winning all 4 of their series to open the campaign. The Rays have taken down Detroit, Washington, Oakland and Boston during their 13-0 start to the year, wrapping up their 4-game sweep of the Red Sox with a 9-3 win on Thursday. They tied the MLB's post-1900 record with consecutive wins to open the season after scoring 7 runs in the 5th inning on Thursday. The 1982 Atlanta Braves and the 1987 Milwaukee Brewers are the only other teams who have gone 13-0 to open a campaign since 1900, with the only other longer opening streak was a 20-0 start by the 1884 St. Louis Maroons of the Union Association. I think it's virtually impossible to fade Tampa Bay in a game with toss-up odds, especially when the Rays are motivated to set a modern-era record for wins to open the season. They also have an advantage with this starting pitching matchup, so this line does not make much sense. Rasmussen has yet to allow a single run this season, while Barrios is off to a rough start following a disappointing 2022 campaign. Toronto is also having to play on Thursday night, while Tampa Bay got to rest a little longer after playing early in the day. Our team pick is Tampa Bay. The Rays have been winning in style, with all but 2 of their games being decided by at least 4 runs. They have outscored opponents 100-130 with the most runs in the big leagues and the fewest allowed, excelling on both sides of the plate. Shortstop Wander Franco leads Tampa Bay with 17 hits and a .340 average through his first 50 at-bats, hitting 4 home runs and driving in 12 runs. Right-hander Drew Rasmussen is expected to start for Tampa Bay on Friday night. He is off to a remarkable start of his own, throwing 13 scoreless innings against the Nationals and Athletics to open the season. He went 11-7 with a 2.84 ERA in 28 starts last year. Toronto got off to a slow start to the season when it lost 3 of its first 4 games, but it has ramped things up since then. The Blue Jays have won 7 of their last 8 games, heading into Thursday night series finale against Detroit. This story was published prior to that contest. They took 2 out of 3 against the Angels last weekend before winning the first 2 games of their series against Detroit. Toronto is wrapping up a 6-game homestand with this series before having to face the Astros and Yankees away from home next week. Our total pick is over. Los Angeles Angels vs Boston Red Sox. I'm backing Sandoval and the Angels to win Game 1 versus the Red Sox. Boston is coming off a tough series against Tampa and is still reeling from the loss of Adam Duvall, .455 BA, 1.54 OPS, who fractured his wrist in Monday's loss to the Rays. The Sox are facing the harsh reality that their season could be long and trying, with more setbacks than successes. The Angels, meanwhile, are leading their division and will be forced to play competitively or potentially watch Shohei Ohtani depart in free agency. With a legit starter on the mound and a below-average team in the opposing dugout, this is the type of game Los Angeles must win. While Sandoval doesn't have much experience against Boston, I believe that will work in his favor. The Red Sox lineup can look potent at times, but they aren't having as much success against left-handers, with just 35 hits and 39 Ks in 142 at-bats, 27.4% strikeout rate. On Thursday, they struggled against southpaw Jeffrey Springs until the Rays pitcher departed in the 4th inning with a left arm injury. He allowed a solo home run to Rob Refsnyder in the first, but was otherwise controlling the Sox lineup with 5 strikeouts through 3 innings. While Houck managed to win his first 2 starts of 2023, he had a rough spring, allowing 16 runs in 17.1 innings, 8.31 ERA, over 5 starts, including 22 hits, 6 homers, and 10 walks with 21 Ks. The Angels similarly lit him up in May of last season, scoring 7 runs on 5 hits. I expect that version of Houck to be exposed by Los Angeles on Friday. The Sox have gone over the point total in 4 of their first 6 games at Fenway, and they or their opponent have scored 7 runs or more in those games. Boston currently ranks 3rd in the majors in runs per game, 5.67, and the Angels are not far behind, ranking 8th with 5.42 runs per game average. The Angels or their opponent have scored 6 or more runs in 4 of their first 6 road games. As mentioned, Houck's ERA was much higher at Fenway than it was on the road last year, and the Angels hit righties better than lefties in 2022, .236 batting average versus righties, .226 batting average versus lefties, so they may get to Houck for some runs early. The Sox were more effective versus left-handers last year than they were right-handers, .265 average .423, slugging versus .255 average .405 slugging versus right, so most indications point to the Sox scoring some runs in this game as well. Take the over at Fenway on Friday. Baltimore Orioles vs Chicago White Sox. The starting pitcher in this battle seems pretty even. When it comes to offense and the bullpens, Baltimore should have the edge though. The visitors in this one are putting up 5.7 runs per game, aided by a long ball that should come more easily in Chicago than Baltimore based on park factors. Even if the White Sox grab a lead, is their league worst bullpen capable of holding it against a dangerous lineup? It doesn't seem like it, which is why the Orioles should take this first game. Our team pick is Orioles for the win. Dropping the final 2 games in Minneapolis resulted in the White Sox losing their series against the Twins to begin the week. It was their 3rd straight series loss after splitting 4 games in Houston to begin 2023. These 3 games represent their 2nd series at home this year and hopefully their 1st series win of the young campaign. Like their opponents this weekend, pitching can take most of the blame for their struggles so far. Chicago woke up on Thursday morning with a 5.79 ERA as a team, which was 28th in the league. No group of relievers has a higher ERA than the White Sox's 7.01. Their K9 of 10.72 out of the bullpen, fourth in MLB, is nullified by a BB9, which is 29th. Mike Clevinger will make his first ever home start as a Chicago pitcher, hoping to rebound from an ugly outing last Saturday. He pushed his record to 2-0 with the White Sox, but allowed 4 runs over 5.1 innings. Clevinger only stuck out 1 hitter, but allowed 8 hits and 2 walks. His career against the Orioles includes a 4-1 record in 6 starts, with a 3.69 ERA. Their offense is dangerous at full strength, but that's not their status right now. Eloy Jimenez and Yoan Moncada are questionable to suit up this weekend, while Tim Anderson is out. Tim Anderson's absence will hurt the most, as the all-star shortstop has a .3270 BP and 5 stolen bases hitting leadoff. Chicago will still have their pop with Luis Robert, who is batting .340 with a .698 slugging percentage, thanks to 5 homers. Robert will have to lead an offense that's 10th in batting average and putting up 4.62 runs per game. Our total pick is over.